All right. Well, hello, everybody, and happy International Women's Day. I have been so excited for this interview for a little while now. I'm Paige Martin, and joining me virtually today is Meghan Hunter. Meghan, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to virtually sit down with me today.
Gosh, pleasure's all mine. I hope I don't disappoint. You said you're excited for the interview, so I'm looking forward to it as well.
Love it, love it. Well, I want to take a moment to just try and summarize your resume because it's so impressive, and this is not going to be extensive at all. So, you currently work with the Chicago Blackhawks as the director of hockey administration as well as a scout. You had a standout NCAA career with the University of Wisconsin. You worked for Hockey Canada as well as, of course, the London Knights. I know that they're somewhat also in your blood. We will get to that topic in a moment, but you're someone that already has accomplished so much and still, has places to go, and like such an inspiration to young women and girls. What does, International Women's Day mean to you?
Oh, it's so special that it's a day that we can honor all powerful women in society and sports. I'm just really thankful for all the opportunities that I've gotten along the way. I'm not sure if it was that prominent when I was little or when I started playing with the boys, and then did I really know how my career path was going at the time. I was just having fun, but looking back and maybe the opportunities that now exist for females that didn't back then is pretty special. So yeah, I mean, I am very excited to try to be continue to trailblaze. I didn't even realize that I might be doing that at the time as I was growing up, but love hearing and supporting stories of strong, passionate, powerful females.
Now, we kind of said hockey's in your blood. Can you tell us, what it was like growing up as a Hunter and how that's influenced your hockey career, both on the ice and off the ice as well?
Sure. I mean, we just, like, I say it quite often, and it's in terms of like, I lived, breathed, ate, sleep hockey. I remember when I was little, we'd play a game of mini sticks, and then we go back into my grandparents' living room. I'd fall asleep watching my uncles on TV. We'd all gather around to watch. So I started out at a young age just being immersed into hockey, and just grew to love it playing wise. So yeah, training wise too. I mean, growing up as a Hunter, I had the benefit. I actually went to the gym with Dale, like back in the day. I just would hitch a ride, and I got to see how hard he worked. Even just coming from a farm background and seeing my dad and all my uncles working so hard on the farm, that work ethic was ingrained since I was little. And that transcended into my playing career, but also into my professional career. So yeah, and I got a lot of advice. I got a lot of, not like pressure, but just they wanted me to be the best that I could be. I wanted to be the best that I could be. So having that, being pushed a little bit to try to achieve my goals by in hockey and professionally by my parents and my entire family. I mean, that was something special that helped me kind of develop that internal drive to be as successful as I can be.
Well, I mean, it's evident in, everything that you've been able to do so far. With your NCAA career, you played and then you transitioned to be a coach. Was that something that, that you always wanted to do? How did that come about?
I was just talking about this the other day, how that period in my life was a little bit difficult because I wasn't sure if I was done, if I was ready to be done playing. And, you wrap up your identity in, Meghan Hunter, the hockey player. Well, what am I going to do next? How do I transition out of that? And then now we have the PWHPA, which has females have something to look for, forward to, role models to admire. At the time, there really wasn't an established league in Toronto, and I was just trying to determine, do I want to continue my career? Would I be a bubble player on the national team? I had the opportunity to be an assistant coach and a visa at the time. So I decided the latter. I decided to start my career, just because in the long game, there really wasn't any money in it for me to be a player. As much as I love the game, it was a really tough decision to make, and I struggled with it for a long time.
Going a little bit deeper with that, what do you think you learned about yourself in, you talk about your identity as Meghan Hunter, the hockey player, and then thinking about your career after that, what were you able to learn about, just Meghan Hunter and who she was?
Totally. I mean, I love being involved in sports. I'm a huge family person, and I think the huge part of that career-wise that I've learned is, you have to find that balance to enjoy your life and your family. Um, but in terms of like Meghan Hunter, I'm still heavily involved in hockey, but there are other aspects to my life that are not hockey related. I love working out. I love traveling, which I haven't been able to do a lot of, or anyone has in the past year. But yeah, it's just kind of trying to find that balance. Yeah, just really appreciating every day and kind of taking every experiencing and learning something new from it.
Now, working as an NHL scout now, I know that's only part of your portfolio, but how does your experience as a player contribute to, who you are as a scout?
Yeah, oh, great question. I think you develop some. I said to somebody else the other day, you don't want to develop biases, but you know who you like to play with on the ice as a player, so you kind of like look for those traits in some of the players that you're scouting. But also, like, I wasn't a great skater, so sometimes you have like a soft spot in your heart for maybe that somebody's not a great skater that had like a characteristic that you might have, or it just helps you be a little more even keel too, in terms of like, yes, this is a detriment, but can they make up for their lack of skating by other intangibles? So yeah, that's just I kind of try to bring as much as I can into it and just just kind of level the playing field too, and then just kind of what was I thinking as I was going through being scouted so heavily? There's a lot of pressure on the kids. Did that affect them at this particular game? Or how did play on the ice affect me once I came to the bench? And, what kind of character did I develop out of that? So there's a lot of different things that you can pull from playing into scouting realm.
That's so interesting. It's like that human element that you're able to bring in because you know what pressure and kind of what could be going through the player's mind, right? And to be able to approach it from that perspective, I think that brings you as a scout just to a different level. Really.
I hope so. We'll see.
The results may show.
Game reports.
Love it. Well, I've been very excited to ask you this question in particular because there are predictions that you could be the first female general manager in the NHL. First of all, how do you feel about that?
I mean, excited, a little bit nervous too. I mean, that's a big, we say, shoes to fill, or there technically isn't a female GM in hockey yet. So to be the first one would be an honor, for one. But also, a little bit daunting too. I got a lot of work to do. A lot more to learn still. I am involved in quite a few different things that, a general manager would be. And it's nice to kind of have, in my role, a broad perspective of every kind of department and area maybe that's going on with the team or the Blackhawks. So I'm just kind of trying to be a sponge and continue to learn and ask questions. And we'll see what happens. It's nice to have, goals and things to aim for and strive for. So
absolutely. Well, I mean, thank you for that. You're being such, like a powerhouse for, everything in stride with the PWHPA, and it's so exciting to, see stories that you're well on your way, right in stride with that goal in mind. Can you actually kind of take us through what day to day, you're doing?
I'll try. I was like, I was telling my mom the other day, like, one of the hardest things to try to explain is kind of what I do every day, because it changes every day. Something new, different department, something pops up, but generally, I kind of handle all the correspondence from the NHL, and then I'll work with obviously our general manager and our senior VP of hockey ops, just to kind of like, what is our response to certain things. Now with the pandemic, this past year has been so strange. Working from home, I, thankfully I've been able to do a lot from home. But it's player transactions, working with Stan to try to figure out, who's going to be playing a particular day, or medical paperwork. Somebody's injured. Also deal with a lot of immigration aspects, which has been also a challenge through COVID, and just with an ever-changing landscape. And then obviously the scouting this year has moved to mostly video, but there would be times I'd be out scouting in between, because I'm at every home game as well. So you have to kind of plan your scouting schedule around, our home games as well. So get out to as many games as possible. Yeah, it's kind of like almost like a catch-all too. So kind of touch other different departments and making sure that we're staying on top of things with the NHL. This year too has been a lot of helping our team services with the protocols. Currently involved with our players, as I'm kind of inside the team bubble. So I'm basically like quarantining, testing every day. And so I'm able to interact with the players. So yeah, there's just a lot of different aspects, which keeps it fun, and it keeps me on my toes. So it's keeps me on my toes with my phone in my hand 24/7.
I was going to say, it doesn't really sound like any day is the same, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's just like, I'm a planner. I love to have things dialed in and have it done, 2-3 days in advance, but that's just not, you just can on some certain aspects in this environment sometimes.
Do you have a favorite part of your job? I know you just listed that you are involved in so many different areas, but what would you say is your favorite part?
That's a great question. I've never been asked that. Gosh, I think the favorite part maybe is that there's so many different elements and everything's different every day. I enjoy interacting with so many different people in their hockey operations department, but also the NHL, other scouts. I'm really enjoying the scouting piece. Yeah, I don't know if I have one favorite part. It was just kind of like an accumulation of everything.
That's such a good answer, to be able to have, everything.
You should have been like, okay, you should really dial it down. Do you enjoy attending games? And
that's okay. I can give you some time to just, reflect on that one if you've never been asked before. So it's all good. I want to take you back to your days working with the Knights. Do you have a favorite memory from that time in your life?
I don't know if I have one favorite memory, but just the fact, the ability to work with family and see how Mark and Dale and Linda and everybody operated. And it was just a team and like a family oriented, not only just between us, but I mean, it just felt that way with the team and the city. I mean, that the rink was just rocking every night, be able to interact with some of our, clients or sponsorships people or season ticket holders, whoever it was during the games. It was just so special to hear the passion for the London Knights, and just feel that same passion and pride to work for such a great organization and have the opportunity to work for them and work for family. And yeah, I miss those days because, it was just having family around so much and just being part of such a great organization. And yeah, sorry, I don't know if I have one favorite memory, but you can never, putting those little Timbits on the ice in between. I mean, that was so fun because they were so cute and you could just see the joy in their eyes, and they're so big with so many people in the arena. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, and what I think is so cool too is it's a consistent message. Like obviously for you, family really resonates, and to be able to actually apply that further, and it's like the whole city, everybody knows within the OHL that the London Knights, there's something different, and it's the atmosphere, it's the team, of course. And I mean, it was last season when Patrick Kane was back in London, and he said, it's like a mini NHL here. And it really is. That's what it feels like. And it's so cool to see, what Dale and Mark have been able to essentially create within the city. And do you hear them kind of talking about, how they maintain that consistency as well? Because it's not just like it's a one season thing. That is a season after season energy and vibe.
I think that just goes to their credit in terms of their work ethic and their passion, and their hockey knowledge on, scouting, the resourcefulness, how they're getting out there, watching all those games, how they're finding these players, and their communication and the, what's the word I'm looking for here? Just the way that they are perceived again in the hockey world is like, that's a number one organization. Players want to go there because they want to develop, they want to make the NHL, and that's what they're all about. They're developing the players. They want the best for the players, and exciting for them to make it to the NHL. I mean, you have somebody like Patrick Kane that comes back and that says, this is like a mini NHL. That goes a long way. I enjoyed, my time here. Yeah, that is really special. So
I want to go back to something that you touched on earlier when you mentioned the PWHPA, because this past weekend, the Blackhawks hosted the Dream Gap Tour, which for anyone who may not know, is an initiative within the PWHPA that, these professional women's hockey players are traveling around. And the Dream Gap Tour is to really be able to push for a viable, sustainable league for these women to be able to play in, and to be able to kind of have, or very much have the same opportunity that their male counterparts do in their professional hockey league. For you, as a former player, what did it mean to see, your team with the Blackhawks step up and be a host for that tournament?
Oh, yeah, so special, and so proud that they, want to promote and support the women's game and women's hockey, and just having that backing from the NHL too it's just phenomenal. And just putting in the resources and how much, support, even if it's from social media or from our fan development, it goes like such a long way. I'm just putting myself, if I was a member of the PWHPA, I mean, it would just be an opportunity of a lifetime. I'd be so excited, to play here at the United Center and Madison Square Gardens. My eyes still light up when I just walk into this building. So, that is just so special. I really hope that we can get a viable league. Like I said, back in my time when I was trying to decide what I was going to do, I think that would have swayed me in a different potentially in a different direction. Everything happens for a reason or an opportunity. And obviously I've found my way in a different avenue, which I'm completely happy with and excited for. But yeah, I think it would have been even harder decision if there was a viable league for me to play in when coming out of college. So
where do you see the future of women's professional hockey going?
Hopefully it's a league that is supported potentially by the NHL, and you've got the Olympians that have a place to play. The best women in college have a place to play when they come out. That I think I don't want to speak for the people, but I think that's what they're hoping for, similar to the WNBA. So hopefully the Dream Gap Tour continues to be successful. I mean, it's exciting to see everything over social media, and I hope that I can continue to spread awareness for the league. And I really hope that it does develop into something viable and long-term.
All right, I got kind of a two-part question. I'm gonna start with part one here. If you could go back to young Meghan, whether that be before your NCAA career, after, when you were deciding what to do, what direction to take, what would you tell that Meghan?
Good question. Probably, just honestly continue what you're doing, continue working hard. And everything is going to work out, because I had a lot of anxiety, I think, and I put a lot of pressure on myself, because honestly, there wasn't a viable, like I couldn't make money on it. All I knew, I had an opportunity to get a scholarship, what I was just super excited for and was aiming for, like the entire, like leading up to college. So I would just say, just keep working towards your dreams, and opportunities are endless. And the thing with my parents and my family is they never really, told me no in terms of being able to play. So I really was kind of innocent most of the time in terms of growing up, where like when I first asked, can I play? And I'm like, oh, well, you would only be the only female, or only 2 or 3 females in that organization, but they never even question it. So to me, I was like, oh, just keep asking, just keep playing, just keep doing what you're doing. And like that, it's normal, so don't ever like go back on in terms of being anxious. Just be confident in what you're doing and be a strong, powerful female.
That's so cool. I love that it wasn't even, like a topic of conversation. It was just like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like
You
it's
can.
weird because, like I was like, oh, well, I got to dress in the first aid room today, or I have to dress in the bathroom. And I'm like, well, that really didn't phase me because I got to play, like it wasn't like, I was like, oh, that's the way it is. But like my parents, like, yeah, setting like limits, they never did. They're like, okay, you want to try this? You want to play, AAA with hitting with boys that are, 6 feet tall, and you're only, well, I was pretty big. I was 5'9", but sure, yeah, let's do it. Let's try.
That's so awesome. I find like that's a common theme between like yourself, a lot of the stories that you hear from PWHPA players, and having to start by playing with the boys in the boys league. What do you kind of see as a consistent thread, maybe as like a common characteristics between all of you? There's like that deep passion for the game where playing with the boys, it didn't matter. Did that maybe build like just a little bit more resilience? Or
For sure, and I think it's a hunger for more, like, and like you're always kind of like thankful for every opportunity that you do get, because at the time you're doing something outside the norm, I guess, but some like you didn't really know it, you're just going through the flow, like trying to do it. So yeah, I don't know, like yeah, like common thread wise, like I think that just develops, like you say, like a resiliency, maybe like a little confidence too, that you're able to do something. Yeah, I mean, a work ethic too, because you always have to prove that you're working harder than everybody else, to make sure that you're proving your worth. So I think for me anyways, that's kind of how I felt.
and this is going to be part two to the question that I had before, and I'll end with this one. What's a piece of advice that you have for young women, young girls who are hoping to have a career in hockey, whether that's on the ice or off the ice as well?
Well, just keep working hard and doing your homework. That's a huge piece of it for females, because hockey scholarships are they're a little bit harder because there's more women playing, obviously, but having those grades really helps. But I just found like the work ethic and never quitting, never giving up, that was just built in me from a young age. And I know I go back to that, like some people say, work smarter than work harder, but that work ethic piece, you can really, nothing ever beats hard work. So, set your goals, where you want to do, never let anyone tell you that something's not possible. And options should be endless.
Love it. Well, Meghan, thank you so much again for sitting down with me today. It is so cool to be able to have someone like you join us for International Women's Day and just celebrate everything that you have accomplished already and what's still to come. And you're just such a great example of what we can strive for and what we can accomplish. So thank you for that. I know that there are many people alongside myself who are very excited to see the moves that you make and where your career takes you. And yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. Like I said at the beginning, I hope I didn't disappoint.
Absolutely not. And
I love talking about the London Knights and family, and wishing every female the best on International Women's Day.
Meghan, thank you again, and have an incredible rest of your day.
Yes, you too. Thanks again.